What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be breaking down the Catalyst basic training skill. This is one of the two brand new basic training skills. I've already covered Remedy alongside the Commando division. If you guys missed that video, I'll leave it linked down below. But for Catalyst, I wanted this to have its own video because it has quite a few unique properties, and I wanted to share everything that it has an impact on today. So with Catalyst, the description says you get access to a serum which improves weapon handling while active. This is a super vague description, and we don't really know what that entails as far as weapon handling. Generally, handling refers to things like aim down sight time, weapon swap time, possibly sprint out time. It's really kind of up in the air, but I did a ton of testing on every variable that I could possibly think of that this may have an impact on. And today, I'm going to start going through that list. I'll tell you if it has an effect or not, and if it does, I'll tell you what that effect is. Before we go through that list though, it is important to know the charge times for the serum and how that all works. So the way it works is it'll actually appear under your score streak, so within your score streak indicator, and it also does count as calling a score streak in if you're doing any orders or anything working towards that. But when you first spawn into the match with that class, you will already have this charge, so you can use it immediately if you'd like. And then after that, it always takes 30 seconds to fully charge. Now this charge time isn't affected whatsoever by getting kills or score, so you can't accelerate that process. It's a flat 30-second charge time for this. Now once you activate it and you inject yourself with that serum, the effects of that will last for 8 seconds before it runs out, and you have to restart that 30-second timer, charging up to the next time you can use it. So now that we have those basics covered, let's get into the list of what this serum has an effect on. So first up, the one that I feel is most noticeable, this is the one that I felt the first time I used Catalyst without doing any detailed testing: aim down sight time. Catalyst definitely does have an impact on your aim down sight time, and based on my testing, it pretty much cuts it in half for nearly every weapon out there. Now, because of frame rounding, you might get slightly different results, but generally speaking, this cuts your aim down sight time in half. Next up, I tested sprint out time, and it turns out this has no impact whatsoever on your sprint out times. After that, we have reload time, and it turns out this does increase your reload speed very noticeably. You reload about 40% faster while this serum is active. Next up, we have weapon swap time, which actually consists of two different values. You have your lower time, which is the amount of time it takes to put your gun away, as well as your raise time, which is the amount of time it takes to bring out the other gun. Based on my testing with a sniper rifle swapping to a pistol at least, your swap speed is increased by about 33%, so you can swap weapons a little bit faster. Getting into rate of fire, this is the one that actually surprised me quite a bit. The serum does increase your rate of fire by a very noticeable margin, by much more than rapid fire would. Based on my testing, you get a 33% increase to your rate of fire, which is very, very noticeable, and it will significantly decrease your time to kill. As for recoil, this one's a little bit more difficult to test, but I tested multiple times with multiple weapons, and based on everything I can tell, it doesn't seem to have a positive impact on your recoil. If anything, based on my tests, you end up being less accurate, but that's not because the recoil values are affected. It's more so due to the fact that your rate of fire is increased so significantly, and when you get a faster rate of fire, then your recoil doesn't recenter as fast, and therefore you end up being less accurate. So you get slightly less accuracy when the serum is active. This brings us to hipfire, and it turns out with the serum active, your hipfire spread is literally cut in half. So you have a very, very noticeably smaller hipfire spread, which can help quite a bit in a lot of situations, especially for guns like LMGs and sniper rifles. Moving on to our idle sway, based on my testing, there is no impact whatsoever to your idle sway with the serum active. Your ability to throw equipment also seems to be unaffected, so you don't throw your sticky grenades or your stun grenades any faster or further. It's exactly the same as normal. Your movement speed, both normal movement speed, sprinting movement speed, and aim down sight strafe speed, all of those are completely unaffected by the serum. And finally, your melee recovery time doesn't seem to be affected either. So you can't melee any faster, you can't recover from melee any faster when the serum is active. And with that, those are all the main variables I tested with Catalyst. Definitely a few surprises in there, things that I didn't think would be changed by having the serum active. Things like rate of fire, for instance. I really didn't think that would be the case, but it definitely is to a noticeable extent. As for my overall thoughts on Catalyst, I do feel like it's not necessarily the most powerful basic training out there. The serum recharge time is 30 seconds, which is a pretty long time in Call of Duty terms. But it only lasts for 8 seconds, which means you really have to time that right. You have to pop that like right before you're about to get into a bunch of engagements, or else you're just going to end up wasting it because you can easily miss that 8-second window. I would say this is most valuable to be used with LMGs, as well as for those snipers out there that want to make their montages. For a lot of snipers, they know the exact moment they're getting up into that spawn trap where they're going to get their kill feed. So they know when to pop that Catalyst, and this is actually going to help out very significantly for that. And also with LMGs, you get a lot of excellent benefits like that reduced hipfire spread, the increased rate of fire, the ability to reload faster, the significantly reduced aim down sight time. These are all areas where the LMGs tend to struggle, and therefore you basically eliminate all the downsides to it. Aside from that though, I personally don't really see myself using this basic training skill very often. I think I'd be much better off having a basic training skill that's always active for me. I don't have to wait to charge it up and then just have it activated for 8 seconds. I'd much rather have something like Scoped, for instance, which just allows me to straight faster while aiming down sight 100% of the time. Of course though, I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. What do you guys think of Catalyst? Were there any variables in this video that surprised you that Catalyst actually has an impact on? And are there any variables that you thought maybe Catalyst should have an impact on, but it doesn't? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.